Look at him. Do not look away. This is not the face you see on the temple walls. This is not the golden Horus. This is a man who knows he is about to die for the second time. He stands alone in the center of the obsidian floor. The gold of his pectorals has dulled in the gloom, and the linen of his kilt, once crisp and white, now clings to his legs, heavy with the sweat of the grave. He has left his armies behind. He has left his viziers, his wives, and his priests in the world above. Here, there are no chariots to carry him. There is only the cold, unyielding stone beneath his bare feet. He commanded the Nile to flood. He commanded the sun to rise. But here, in the Hall of the Two Truths, his commands fall silent. He is no longer Pharaoh. He is only an Ib, a heart, pulsing with the terrified rhythm of a trapped bird. High above him, the ceiling is lost in shadow, swallowing the smoke of unseen torches. The only light comes from the lake of fire, casting long, violent shadows that dance against the walls like restless spirits. And there, in the center of the abyss, it waits. The great scale of Ma'at. Cold bronze, unforgiving mechanics. It is such a small thing. A single ostrich feather. White. Fragile. It trembles in the stagnant air. It weighs nothing, yet it holds the weight of the entire cosmos. The pharaoh stares at it. His eyes are wide, rimmed with kohl that has begun to run, tracing black tears down his cheeks. He knows the physics of this place. If his heart is heavier than that feather, the jaws in the darkness will snap shut. And he will not just die. He will cease to have ever existed. To arrive here, he has crossed the Lake of Flowers and navigated the twisting corridors of the Rosatol. But the journey has not hardened him. It has stripped him. The air in this hall is not like the air of Thebes. It is thick, tasting of ozone and ancient dust. It does not move. It sits upon the skin like a shroud, pressing down with the weight of a mountain range. This is the architecture of absolute judgment. The columns do not soar to the heavens, they drill down into the roots of the earth. They are carved, not with victories, but with the laws of existence. Lining the walls, seated in high alcoves of basalt, are the 42 judges. They are not statues, they are waiting entities. Their faces are obscured by the gloom, but their eyes glint with a predatory intelligence. One holds a knife, another holds a serpent. They do not speak, they do not move. They simply observe. They know. They have watched him since he drew his first breath. They saw him steal the grain from the widow. They saw him order the execution of the innocent. They saw the pride that swelled in his chest when the people bowed. The pharaoh feels their gaze like a physical touch, burning his skin. He tries to stand tall, to assume the posture of kingship he practiced for decades in the palace mirror. But his knees betray him. The silence of the judges is louder than any accusation. It is a silence that demands the truth. To the right of the scale stands Thoth, the ibis-headed administrator of the universe. He does not look at the pharaoh. He looks only at his scroll. His hand moves with terrifying precision, recording the metadata of a human soul. He is not cruel. He is not kind. He is precise. He is the bureaucratic inevitability of death. There is no bargaining with the scribe. You cannot bribe him with gold, for he owns the mines. You cannot threaten him with armies, for he writes the history of wars. He is waiting for the number. The ritual begins. The pharaoh must speak the negative confession. He must declare his purity to the void. He opens his mouth and his voice cracks, a dry, withered sound that dies instantly in the vastness of the hall. I have not committed sin.
I have not robbed the poor. I have not stolen the cakes of the gods.
The words tumble out, rehearsed 1,000 times in life. But here, the words taste like ash. Every denial is a battle against his own memory. As he says, I have not killed, his mind flashes with the image of a Nubian village burning, the smoke choking the sky. As he says, I have not spoken lies, he remembers the decrees he forged to seize the temple lands. The soul may lie, but the body confesses. The body remembers every sin it has committed. The sweat on his forehead is not from heat, it is from the freezing terror of exposure. His hands shake uncontrollably, the gold rings rattling against each other, a tiny, pathetic sound in the silence. His heart, the very object of the trial, hammers against his ribs, bruising the bone. It wants to escape. It wants to confess. From the shadows beneath the scale, a shape emerges. Ammit, the devourer of the dead. Part crocodile, part lion, part hippopotamus. She is not a myth. She is a biological reality of this place. Her scales are matted with the grime of centuries. Her jaws hang open, dripping saliva onto the pristine floor. She does not hunger for meat. She hungers for non-existence. She eats the name. She eats the memory. If she takes you, it is as if you never were. The pharaoh smells her, the stench of old blood and stagnant river water. He flinches, his royal composure shattering completely. He looks to Thoth for mercy, but the scribe continues to write. He looks to Anubis, but the jackal god is merely checking the calibration of the bronze arm. The pharaoh is utterly, devastatingly alone. Anubis steps forward. His obsidian skin glistens like polished oil. He reaches out, not with a knife, but with a spectral hand that passes through the pharaoh's chest. The king gasps, a sharp intake of breath that sucks the air from the room. Anubis withdraws his hand, and in it he holds the IB. It is not a metaphor. It is the heart itself, glowing with a dull crimson bioluminescence. It pulses with the rhythm of the man's life. Every beat is a secret. Every contraction is a choice he made. Anubis places it gently into the ceramic jar on the left pan of the scale. The universe holds its breath. The machinery of Ma'at engages. On the right pan, the feather of Ma'at sits motionless. It is light, fluffy, perfect. On the left pan, the heart in the jar settles. The beam of the scale begins to move. Gravity seems to warp. Time dilates, stretching this single second into an eternity. Down, down it goes. The heart is heavy, heavy with pride, heavy with the gold he hoarded, heavy with the names he erased from the monuments of his fathers. The scale tips. The side of the heart sinks lower. The side of the feather rises. The physics of justice are taking effect. Ammit's eyes widen. Her muscles coil, ready to spring. The pharaoh falls to his knees, his hands clawing at the stone floor, his fingernails breaking against the obsidian. No! His mind screams, but no sound comes out. He watches as the beam passes the horizontal line. The verdict is forming. The heart is heavier. The life was flawed. Thoth stops writing. He lifts his head. He looks at the pharaoh. He does not speak. He simply turns the scroll to face the judges. The ink is still wet. The calculation is complete. The result is undeniable. There is no appeal in the afterlife. There is only the result. The pharaoh closes his eyes. He waits for the teeth. He waits for the end of his name. In the darkness of his own eyelids, he sees his statues crumbling, his temples turning to sand, his legacy blowing away on the wind. The second death has arrived. The darkness of the Duat vanishes. The heat of the lake of fire is gone. We are standing in a climate-controlled room in London, or perhaps Cairo, or New York. The light is flat, fluorescent, and sterile. Behind a sheet of thick glass lies a papyrus. It is brown and frayed at the edges. The ink, once fresh and wet, is now faded to a rusty brown. It depicts a man standing before a scale, a cartoon, a drawing, a curiosity for school children on a field trip. They walk past it. They glance at the drawing of the beast. They laugh at the animal-headed gods. They do not know. They do not hear the screams trapped in the fibers of the plant. They do not feel the crushing weight of the obsidian hall. They see art. They see mythology. They take a picture with a flash that bounces off the glass, and they move on to the next exhibit. They do not realize that they are looking at a trial transcript. They are looking at the legal documentation of a soul that failed. But the desert remembers. Outside the museum, the wind still blows over the Valley of the Kings. The empty tombs stand with their mouths open, screaming silently at the sky. The scale is still waiting. The feather has not withered. The heart still beats. We leave the ancients to their dust. But as you walk through your own life, building your own small empires, gathering your own gold, ask yourself, when the noise of the world falls away, and you are left alone in the dark with nothing but your own conscience, if your heart was placed on the scale today, would it float?